Good morning and welcome to the Dawn Patrol. My name's Ned Tarmey, retired from the Water Department. Next is my nephew Jeffrey. Today is his birthday. Then Bob Hoey, candidate for school committee. Tom Bomil, candidate for something we don't know yet.
Probably candidate for nothing.
Yeah. What's happening in Draker, Tom?
New town manager started last Monday, a week ago yesterday, and obviously it's her first week, getting her feet wet. I haven't had a chance to I've met her before, so I didn't get a chance to say hello to her. But everything's it'll be a honeymoon period, I'm sure. I don't know how much of a honeymoon period they have in Draker for these managers, but I think she'll be all right. You know, we'll see what happens. But staying away from Draker for a minute, I was just telling John when I walked in, I picked up the little Sun. Well, I didn't pick it up. I read it online that Mark Crapman's not running for re-election in Tewksbury. Tewksbury.
Wow.
He's not running for re-election.
He works so hard.
Well, he's got some, the health issues.
Problems.
I'm going to miss him because I hope they keep him on the LRTA because he's a great member of that board. And but yeah, Drake's doing good right now. The elections and papers come out. In fact, I got a call the other day from the town clerk because papers come out on February 2nd, and my papers are there waiting. They already have them ready for the ones that they know might run. I said, I don't know if I'm going to run, so just you can have them ready for me. And I'm just letting you know if they're ready. She said, if you don't want them, just
Is he going to run for the housing board?
I don't think so. I don't. I look every day. It's different. I wake up one morning. I say I'm not going to, and then I say I'm going to, and then what I'm not going to do is I'll probably take the papers out, get the signatures. But I'm not gonna. If there's opposition, they can have it because I'm just not in the campaign mood. I'm not. You get to a point where not like Bob Hoey. He's like a $6 million man.
Yeah, sure.
When he runs for school committee this year, he'll be like the Iron Man. But
Well, you two guys pick candidates. You should run a consulting firm.
So we still and this year's going to be a fairly big vote on the Housing Authority this year because we're losing our executive director. Mary Karabatsis is retiring, and so we'll be looking we won't be looking as far as I'm concerned. I know who I want. I want the person that's there, her assistant. She's been there, her assistant, for like 10 years. I qualified. She runs the show when Mary's not there, so I'm not going for any nationwide search, as they say. So that's my opinion. I can't speak for the other board members.
Lowell lost out when we didn't get Mary back in the day, so Drake had made, you guys scored. You're good. That's one for Drake.
Yeah, and we're one of the top housing authorities in the state, and she does a great job. Stays under the what do they call it, the radar. She doesn't. But it's time. In fact, there was something going on the last meeting. Nothing big, but I said, so Mary, you remember she was going to retire this past October. I said, so you're still glad you didn't retire, Mary? She said, oh, I wish I did. She said, I didn't.
She's a nice person.
Yeah, very nice person. So, but,
and then Tommy Shanahan's going to be honored by
the Bridge Club on March 15th. He's going to be there.
That's great. Is Roger still running the party?
Yeah. What's that?
Rodney's
going to be. In fact, we had an event I didn't go to it. The Bruins played the police department, I believe, in
it was Sunday. Because I was
Rodney
talking to
dropped
Rita.
the puck for that one.
I talked to Rita. She just got home.
Oh, she went. Yeah.
Yeah, she went with her daughter and some friends or something.
Yeah.
She just got in the house.
I was at Rita last week. We had a regular monthly board of directors meeting. So, yeah, saw our former town manager there, Ann Vandal. She's enjoying life. So,
how much is her pension?
What's that?
How big is her pension?
It's got to be
80% of.
Oh, it's definitely 80%. But I mean, it's up there too because she made some good money the last high 3 years. So. But again, I was surprised that this new town manager. I always think it's a perk. It is a perk. She didn't want the vehicle. She didn't. She's taking a stipend instead. I think it's $6,000 or something. But still, a car. I mean, it's just.
I'll tell you one reason
some people
why.
Don't want it.
They can write off the cost of the car in the taxes.
Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons. So.
Now let's get back.
What's going on with your governor up there in New Hampshire? Piss it off to Mayor Lowell. I mean, gee, I didn't read about that.
What happened?
I guess she made some remark about Lowell and Lawrence being
Drugs.
Drug cities, yeah. So,
That's Kelly Ayotte.
yeah.
She's in.
I like her too. I mean, I
Yeah.
think she,
She's been right in the White House. She's in.
yeah.
Now after the first of the year, this is an election year in Lowell, we'll start the rumor mill. On the streets, I hear that Rita wants to run. And then that'll be her last term. But I don't know if that's true or not.
Now, there's a new candidate that's running against Corey, attorney, some woman attorney that's I think she's on the library trustees. Did you hear about that?
No.
I actually saw it on Teddy's site last week.
I would guess that she's there being put there by
She's going to
Brian.
run against Belanger.
Put there by Brian and
There'll be
Barrett.
about, I'll say a half a dozen at least.
Yeah.
From
Let me see if I can get her
District
name.
3.
And
It's a great time in Lowell.
So
Great
for
time in
mayor-
the country, too. Great time in the country.
I hear Rodney wants to be mayor. Not Rodney, Eric.
I was with Eric Eric came to we had a meeting, he came to our Board of Health meeting last week. Actually, he was representing the city on that, and I always forget, I bought the name of the drug, Cratium or something that they sell in these stores. It's like
Creatine.
It's like a thing that stimulates, and we're banning it in Drake. They banned it in Lowell, and he was there to represent. He came in and just because we're a board of community, and if they're not going to buy it in Lowell, they're going to go over to Drake and buy
Yeah.
it. So.
You know, that was a big one yesterday, Jeff, with Trump. Actually, what they're talking about, drugs, he went up, Canada and Mexico, he went like 25% on one of those tariffs. And then he knows where the drugs are coming in from.
That's right.
He knows it's coming in from either Canada or Mexico. The majority, I would say, is more out of Mexico, but there's a lot coming out of Canada. I know there is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, we lose a lot of people. We're losing the war, really, with drugs because they're just killing our people. That's
Yeah.
what's happening. you
Yeah.
know?
I know
So-
you mentioned the Kelly Ayotte, and I don't know much about the arguments, so I mean I can't elaborate on it. But
Sure.
at the same time, they'll point out Lowell or Lawrence, but recently and sadly, we were looking for a family member recently, and we ended up down in Massencast down in Boston. And if you want to see a problem, I mean we're talking about thousands of addicts just sitting on the streets, and they're shooting up right in public, and just a horrible, horrible scene. Horrible. Bigger than even I ever imagined, and they don't hide it. And like I said, there's thousands.
Yeah.
There's
And it's
thousands.
all over the country.
It's all
too,
over
it
the
is, yeah.
country. It's just, the problem is huge, and we could all, kind of make fun of Trump, but closing the border is where you begin,
Oh, yeah.
and it doesn't mean we don't want people in this country, but it does mean, we've got to vet better, and keep that element out of the country. It's bad enough already. So.
Yeah.
But the person name I was referring to, not to interrupt you, Jeff, is Belinda. I lost her name. Belinda Jurin. She's an attorney who's going to run against
Jermaine,
Corey.
yeah.
Huh, yeah.
Never heard of her.
New person. She's on the. It says. I think she said she's on the library board of trustees and a couple other committees. Yeah.
Well, there was a few names that came out not too long ago, Tom, and I remember as soon as I seen the list of names, I made a commitment right away, like I want to work for a guy, let's say like Eric Gitcher, right? But I've already worked for him. Now I'm looking at Danny Finn.
She ran?
He's really, you know how they came out, about 10 different names.
Yeah. I remember
They
that.
came out to say they wanted that seat, and then they didn't let us vote. You remember? They just appointed
Yeah.
Corey to the chair. There was
Yeah.
to me, I didn't care either way, to be honest with you. I think we should vote for everything, but that's another story. But Corey's working hard, and he'll be tough to beat. He's not going to be easy
He's already
to beat
knocking
now.
on doors.
Well, he's just working real hard. Plus one of yours, Ned. I've seen Corey recently, last 2 times with a tie on and a suit coat. Okay, and
Yeah,
he used to be a guy
a
that liked
vest.
to wear a vest, right? So you don't think he's working hard?
Could be cold in the council chamber.
Yeah.
No. And one of my I really do like Robinson. I like him quite a bit because of his family. I just love his dad. but he should start wearing a sport coat. He should. I've had a few people say that about him.
Well,
And,
we've had people
Well,
talk about
I'm
George
just-
Taylor out in Draker too, and
well,
it's
no, I know you think it's okay, but I think Ned's right about that. There's something about putting a suit coat on.
Well, you're not changing Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Josh Taylor, that's what you get, man. This is me.
I don't know if this is true. Did you hear about that Fetterman from Pennsylvania? He's a senator. He
Yeah.
showed up in
Shorts.
shorts and a hoodie at the.
He does all the time.
All the time, yes.
All the
Yeah, you're not
time.
going to change the guy.
They need him to put a suit coat on to go on the Senate floor.
Do you think, Bobby, that this, Bobby, Ned, Lowell guys, do you think this open meeting law stuff is going to hurt the council or the election? All this open meeting violations, I mean, that they've been talking about?
Yeah, what was that about? I saw that.
Oh, there's been one of them was filed by the downtown councilor's wife, I believe, and a couple others. One of the issues was the district. What district is it? What Corey's in? I don't know the numbers.
3.
The way they
Three.
did it,
Three.
and the way they.
3.
Yeah. So I know Ed Kennedy's not
I'm
too
in
happy.
his
with-
district.
yeah.
I'm in 3, too.
I know Ed Kennedy was not too happy the way that went down.
Hey, guys, we're going to switch over to the weather for just a second because there are a lot of kids who are heading out to a bus stop this morning. Ned, how chilly was it?
-3.
-3 up in Manchester. Tommy, now you're north of here. What was it at your house?
-1 in Drake.
-1. Bobby?
I didn't even look, John, but I'll tell you one thing. Icy. Watch out for
Oh,
the
it is
ice.
icy.
2 degrees out there. It's cold. I don't know if is it windy?
I didn't find it. That
No, I
way.
didn't find that
No,
one,
no.
D.
I tell you, we didn't get as much snow as they. I don't know.
Oh, we
Hampton
got
did.
6 inches.
But they did a great job in
Let's look at the Rogers
Drake.
School flag, see what that says.
It looks like they did a pretty good job in Lowell
Ma-
as far as the streets are concerned.
Mother
you know.
Nature just teased us. They dropped about, 6 inches of snow on us, okay? It was the lightest snow ever.
It was
You could blow it off your sidewalk. I'm telling you, it was easy to shovel.
But they were saying yesterday morning, I listened to the scanner, and the DPW guys were saying, no matter how fast they were salting, the slush would be freezing.
Yeah.
And they'd have to
It's
just keep
cold.
going and going, so just.
So luckily we got we got no wind this morning, but it is 2 degrees in lovely Lowell, Massachusetts. So you got a kiddo going to school today? Drive them.
And you see some nuts walking around with shorts on
I
today.
can't wait for the
John,
polar
who drove us
plunge.
to school? We
Yeah.
took a bus.
I walked. I walked to school.
Well, it wasn't as cold back
Up
then.
in. Oh, jeepers.
Welcome to global warming.
Do you remember the snowstorms when we were kids?
Oh, yeah.
My God.
But there was always one thing on February vacation that wouldn't have on you.
And Ned, you walked to school uphill both ways, right? That's
Yep.
what my father-in-law used to say. He used to.
Yeah,
With
'cause you-
horse manure on the trail.
Ned, by the way, Jeff, I wanted to tell you, I seen you on Facebook flying your plane. What happens when these big gusts of wind, and I've seen a lot of bad wind this year, hits one of those little, not little, but Piper Cups, or what type of plane you fly?
I mean, it affects wind does have an effect on the landings, of course, but it really affects the passengers the most. I mean, because they feel the bouncing around and everything. They don't
Yeah, his
understand it,
grandchild with him.
But yeah, no, it's the winds can play havoc on you for sure, absolutely, and wind shear but overall, in the small planes, you typically you can pick your weather. Like I can pick my weather. I'm not a scheduled airliner, so I can pick my weather. So if it gets up over say 25 knots, I pretty much stay on the ground. So
You know that little airport out near Plum Island, when you
Yeah.
drive through? I stopped in there one day with my 2 grandchildren.
Bobby, move your mic, will you?
I stopped in there with my 2 grandchildren, and asked this guy that was there. He looked like he was a pilot from World War II. He was a real old guy. He was about Ned's age. and the plane looked as old.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, can you take me and my 2 grandchildren up for a ride there?" He goes, "Yeah," and I forget how much. I think it was over 200, like $250, let's say, for
Right.
a half-hour ride. Well, long story short, I was in the back,
Yeah.
on like the floor, really,
Yeah.
with my grandson, and my other one, the oldest one, sitting there. The guy's letting him pretend he's flying. He put
Right.
the headphones on
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. And when we landed, he hit so hard, the tail end did. I just looked right at the grandson sitting next to me, and then I said, now we're all done. And I goes, "I never called your mother to see if I could do that."
oh yeah.
I
I got in trouble.
I brought Jeff over there when he was in high school with his buddy. We went up. And
Jeff,
then-
were you're a pilot?
I'm a
right?
commercial
Now,
pilot.
now, can you Did you ever think about being a pilot, like for an airline or anything?
I
like
did
that?
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was younger, I had aspirations of being in the airlines, and
Okay.
in the early '90s, I pushed it till about the early '90s, and I never got into the majors at the time, and so. I was raised in a family, so I couldn't really fool around. I couldn't just travel the country and
Yeah.
fly small airplanes and make a few bucks. I had a family to raise, so I was lucky enough to get on with UPS 32 years ago.
Sure,
Not as
sure.
a pilot. I was hoping to be a pilot for them, but I ended up being a truck driver for them. So
That's
you know,
right. They have
just-
their own planes. That's right.
yeah, they
I see
do.
them at the
They
airport,
do. Yeah. But a story about the small planes. I just since Ned's sitting here, I'm 61 years old today, but Ned is the one who actually bought me my first airplane ride, and it was at Plum Island. So
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so probably when I was about 13 years old or something, I got my first airplane ride, and that's what got me hooked. So Ned's sort of responsible for that. And yeah, so but yeah, yep. There's
Cool.
there's me and my granddaughter. That's
And that's his
my
daughter.
That's my daughter there. But my granddaughter there, she's actually getting ready. She's getting her college applications in, and she's starting to get acceptance letters, and she's hoping to be a doctor. So.
She want to be a pilot too?
No, she wants to be a doctor.
Oh, yeah,
No,
that's
she wants to
good.
be a
You can be
doctor.
both, but, you know, yeah.
But my biggest joys are bringing my grandkids up, and it's just the best. And they love it. It's not. I don't push them along. I don't drag them to the airport. I mean, I have a 9-year-old granddaughter that just begs me every time she sees me
Take me for a ride.
to go flying, and I just love that. So, but yeah. So we were talking about addiction, but that little girl there. If you go back to the picture, John, there of my granddaughter in the plane with me, but we had to raise her. Her mom and dad, my son, were addicts, and,
Oh, boy.
and then I did lose my son 9 years ago to a fentanyl overdose. So,
And what
yeah,
about the
so
mother? She's still around? Is the mother still alive?
the mother is doing well.
Yeah.
But I'm her co-guardian. This young lady here,
Right,
I'm her
right.
co-guardian. My daughter does all the heavy lifters. My daughter and I, where even though the odds were stacked against her having addicts as parents, we were very lucky. She has a good head on her shoulders, and like I said,
She wants to be a doctor.
She wants to be a doctor.
Great.
She's getting, she's the
Pediatric doctor.
the acceptance letters are coming in. She's actually even thinking about psychology, but yeah, the acceptance letters are coming in, and we're very excited. So we're one of the lucky ones, and like I said, she pushed through it, all the trauma and losing her dad and being around addiction her whole life, and and she's persevering. So very proud of her.
Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah,
So-
I just feel that people just don't realize how big the drug issue is. It's not just what we see at Al's Cash or in the Southcom. I'm telling you, Ned, these pills now cost $1 or $2. That's how low you can get some of these pills. It's almost like they're turning into zombies.
Yeah.
All over the country. And Trump, again, I'm sorry to keep bringing him up, we finally get someone that's going to do something about it. Close those borders down, like you said, Jeff, right? But the other thing is the tariffs are going to work against Mexico and Canada. Watch and see.
Yeah.
Watch and see.
So who's going to pay for the difference in the tariff?
The thing is,
Maybe we just won't send billions to like Pakistan and these other countries and start to keep some of the money right here.
My feeling is in this is how I feel. This is just negotiation for Trump. We're not going to be paying 60% more for anything in the near future. But this is all negotiation. I think what Trump is really angry about is that when you have the number I heard is there's 22 million men in this country, ages 25 to 45, who aren't working. They're not disabled. They're not. There's no reason. They can't put their finger on it why 22 million, the highest percentage of males in the history of the United States of America. I think it's like 11% who aren't working. Those people, we've got to get those people working. And one way to get those people working is to stop bringing some of these manufacturing jobs back. And whether it's in the auto industry or semiconductors, whatever, it's just widgets. Bring these digitals and Wangs. Not we're bringing those companies back to life, but we need more of those companies where we can get these people 25 to 45 back in the workforce, earning a living, paying taxes, getting benefits, and I think it'll be beneficial. And I think really in the long run, I think that's really what Trump is trying to do. I don't think he's trying to hurt anybody with
I feel
tariffs.
the same way.
But like anything else in life, everything gets passed on to the consumer. Whether it's income tax here in Massachusetts, whether it's, taxes we pay on fuel, it all goes back to the consumer. These so-called billionaires, they don't eat that money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And they're saying now that, what's his name, Vivek,
Buyback.
what's Vivek, the Indian guy.
Rosami, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like he dropped out yesterday. It looks like he's going to
gonna
go
run for governor
of Ohio. Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard that yesterday,
Yeah.
or this morning, actually.
Yeah, because he was another
Who
one.
quit?
Vivek, there, Ramsamy,
Okay. Why'd he quit?
I have no idea. There was some
Resistance?
disagreement that he had.
An old girlfriend stepped into the mix?
I don't know.
Probably.
But he decided he's gonna run for governor of Ohio.
Is that
There
the
was
guy
talk
who ran for president?
He was going to get J.D. Vance's seat, but then that went to somebody else.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But I gotta tell you, I'm very happy about yesterday. I just am. What we really need is we don't need small change in this country. We need big change in this country. And, in what we were doing, we were just heading in the wrong direction. Not sharing my opinion about any one issue, but the country was just heading in the wrong direction, in my opinion. Just how I feel. And I just felt something different yesterday. For the first time, probably since Reagan, for the first time, I just feel actually I felt it a little bit with Bill Clinton, his first term, for some reason. I just felt like Clinton was the right guy at the time. But I really, really feel it this time. I really, really feel it. There's just something, the energy, I don't pick up my opinions from The View at 11 o'clock in the morning. I think they're just a mess. But for just how the country feels, And even if you looked at that Capitol Center last night, I don't know if anybody was watching at 7 o'clock last night when he was in the Capitol Center. Those are real Americans sitting there. Like the people in that audience, they were the hard-working, blue-collar workers, the veterans, the veterans. There was a good mix of people. There was blacks, there was Asians. It just was a great representation of the United States of America. I really, really saw it in the audience, and they focused in on that audience quite a bit.
I had a lot of fun. I did. But my two grandchildren, my boys, 114, 118, TikTok goes down, right? And they go, I said, hey, is your TikTok working? And I don't have TikTok, so I don't even know. And they said, no, it's down. I said, well, the guy that I've been wearing his hat for a couple of years, Trump, he's going to put it back on, and sure enough,
it was only down for like an hour or two. Yeah,
but I had a lot of fun with it, I'll tell you
That's
that.
75
only doing
days
it
to
90
sell
days.
it. Yeah.
90 days, whatever, yeah.
So,
Yeah, someone will buy that.
yeah, must go buy it.
But no, they said this other guy. Who's the guy what's he, the Shark Tank or something? He's in.
O'Leary, Kevin O'Leary, yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to Lowell and the rumors.
Yeah.
Now, I heard rumor.
You made a decision, Bob?
Hey,
yet?
wait a
Oh,
second,
yeah.
Ned. Wait a second, Ned.
Wait a minute, Bob made a decision.
We missed you last night, Ned. We went to
King.
We went to Burger
Jeepers.
King last
Who
night.
picked this one?
I did. Hey, what happened was Angel Garcia, he's got a new job, so it was his turn to pick. So I said, okay, middle of winter, we're gonna try fast food. So McDonald's last night, no, Burger King last night, McDonald's next week.
Well,
And
KFC.
Wendy's the week after.
KFC don't take you inside, do they?
KFC, that's a
Yeah,
possibility.
no, you can go inside now.
Okay.
That's a possibility.
It's-
I'll tell you what's good. I'll tell you what you guys would like was Panera Bread.
Oh,
For the
excellent.
soup and the sandwich,
I like
soup and
that,
the sandwich. A little pricier for the group,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
No, we say, price doesn't scare us. We go wherever.
price doesn't scare us, yeah.
So wait a minute, Bobby has an announcement to make.
I already made it that I'm running citywide for the Lowell School Committee, yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
that's
stuff.
great.
It's going to be a great year, but I wanted to talk about Lowell. So Ned, you were ready to say something?
I just wanted to go on to what I hear in the street. Then I hear that Eric Gitchai wants to be mayor. Of course, with the, what's his name? Yam in the end. I don't know if you heard
Paul
it
at the
last
end?
week. Yeah.
Yeah,
He wants
I
to,
think
he
he could
wants
be in
to
trouble.
Oh, I think so too.
He could
Over
be in
this,
trouble.
over this issue, you mean?
What if Zach Gitchai ran against him?
Well,
Oh, no, that'd
I
be-
think Rita wants to be the mayor.
Rita does. I talked to her.
So-
She's thinking about you, told me. She'd like to be
well-
in there and then go out and retire after that. I said, you'll never retire. She said, who the hell's going to carry me out, she said. When I talked to her, I said, yeah, it could be to you. And I go,
But with
"You know,
Eric's job, could Eric be the mayor? I mean, he could be the mayor. Anybody could be the
I
mayor.
don't know
But
if
with
he'd
his
get the
job,
votes.
he's very, no, but let's just say he had 11 votes. Could he, with his job, he has a demanding job, doesn't he?
he reads, he goes to flag raisins and stuff.
You know, I don't like to talk negative about my friend Eric Gitchia, and I only met him when he came out to run for city council, and I'm listening to him. I said, I got to help this kid get elected. And boy, has he done his job. But he might not get 5 votes. They don't like him.
No, they don't.
I say there's a group of people out right now. I've heard a few things when you go into a bar or restaurant. They're looking to get rid of him. He's a pain in their neck because he's doing
They'll never get
his
rid
job.
of him.
No, you're not getting rid of him.
Right, he's just like Josh out in Drake. Josh speaks his mind, doesn't care what he says. No, he cares what he says, but I mean, he's
He knows what he's talking
right.
about.
But he does his homework.
You
Does
know,
his homework.
Ned, and Danny having a problem with New Hampshire's governor, that makes, I didn't see it, but it makes me laugh because they have their issues in Manchester, believe me, and so does in Nashua. I don't want to get into that either. But
Every
I
state,
just,
every state and city, yeah.
Well, I'm so proud of the city council and Danny as the mayor, because I've always been involved in schools, you know, we got 28 of them, 15,000 kids.
Well, this
there it is.
is from
All right.
Eric Gitchia.
I
Yeah,
do not want to
thank
be-
God, I'm
I
glad
don't
you're
want to be
gonna,
mayor, that's what Eric said.
beautiful.
I know he wouldn't, you know, with his job especially. I mean, but he could do so much more not being the mayor.
Yeah,
Right,
that's-
right?
once you're
that's-
the mayor, you got to
That's what I was just trying to tell you.
Ned, you got the most seasoning. I was once told, make him the mayor or they can't speak.
Oh, that's right.
Tell the audience what that means to be
Well-
mayor.
Well, this
What do you
happened
mean
when
he
they were
can't
building,
speak?
they were building the arena. And Dick Howe was dead set against it. And then they made him mayor, and he had to lead the city to get it. See, they can't,
But he can always step down from the podium, like I've seen
Yeah,
Rourke
but-
do it. I've seen Sakawi
Oh,
do it.
but they like that, they
You know,
like that
They can
spotlight.
speak it as long as they want, right? As many times as they want. You know, I remember back way
I
back.
think Danny wants to be mayor again.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I was going until we switched lanes. Danny is the mayor right now, has done more for the schools. In the city council, Eric Gitchia. Not the whole city council, Eric Gitchia, as far as maintaining our schools. Hasn't,
What's
our
Robinson
schools,
doing?
Jeff, haven't been maintained maybe 75 years.
So
No
we're
man-
talking about actual maintenance of.
Yeah,
schools.
maintenance,
Oh,
even
yeah.
just putting a
Yeah.
filter in an
No, I understand.
HVAC
Yep.
unit. And when this Eric Gitchia came along, all he did was help different schools. I know he helped me at the Riley School to get boilers on November 11th.
Yeah.
They didn't have no heat,
Yeah.
no water. And those are the type of things he does. And Danny is the mayor. He definitely got Liam Skinner the superintendent's job. He came in right off the bat, put a motion in, I want Liam Skinner. When half the school committee wanted to go out and search for a superintendent. And my friend Dominic Lay changed his mind. Danny, boom, we got Liam Skinner. Showed the city, right, the 1,200 teachers, approximate numbers, 400 paras, 300 cooks, you know. The basic numbers when you get 28 schools and 15,000 kids, they picked the right person and showed you got a career ladder.
Yep.
Showed all those people, you got a career ladder.
That's what you need
too
to
can
show.
make $250,000 a year. Beautiful job.
You guys, you were talking earlier about Paul Retham maybe being in trouble. Would it be over the Smith Baker issue,
Oh,
you
yeah.
think?
Yeah.
But now, do you think Corey's in trouble over the domestic issue, even though he was, you don't think so? You think somebody's going to take him on?
I th-
I hear
lose. You lose.
Carraganis.
Who?
Carraganis.
Here again.
The woman, she's too that.
Oh, okay, she's involved with, okay, I know who you mean. Yeah.
In Centerville, he'd be too strong.
Yeah, I
Too
say I
strong.
agree. Nobody's gonna beat him.
Ned, you know for
So you
sure.
think that issue with the Smith Baker would hurt Rethlehem that much? I mean, really? Wow.
Well, it's fallen down, it's fallen apart, but the acoustics in there are unbelievable. It's a sin that they can't get anybody. to
I really thought a guy
No place
like
to park there.
I thought a guy
I
like
know.
Brian McGowan would
That's
grab
the
that
big
building,
problem.
but it was just too much money. Brian's a developer in Drayton
Yeah.
and Lowell. He does a lot of work. He's restored the Trinity Baptist Church. He's done a few Franco-American. Great guy.
know,
too.
He
What
didn't
a-
do the Mayor Franco-American.
One of the
Yes,
sharpest
he did.
No, he didn't.
Too bad about Mark
Brian
Crapman. Mark Crapman decided, you know, I'm done.
Yeah.
It was, well, he must be in with the guy that went to jail there out of Drayton. Enright.
No. He's the one that developed. I've seen rebuilt it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I meant when I said Brian McGowan.
Oh,
Were you going to say, John? I'm sorry.
Oh, Mark Crapman.
yeah.
I guess he's down. His health isn't what he want. I see Mark now and then. Mark was frequent flyer on here till he had his accident at work,
Yep.
and that's too bad.
I just hope we don't lose him on the LITA.
Mr.
because-
Tewksbury. Tewksbury. Without Mark Crapman, there's a lot of stuff
he was a good,
he makes happen in Tewksbury.
he's a very, very good mentor to Eric Kitcher and Eric Ryder. Eric
Yeah.
hooks right onto his tail.
But Mark's a great door opener. Everybody smiles when he walks into
Well,
the room.
look at all the events.
Hope he's feeling better.
4th of July, Memorial Day, St. Patrick's Day.
He took over for
he's
Freddie.
involved with everything. He got that bench out there for Freddie Simon on the. So. Yep.
So where Eric said he doesn't want to be the mayor, and Danny's wanting it again, I would think Danny will get it because of how much he's already
Oh,
done,
Rita
just
will
for
get
the
it.
schools.
Rita will get it.
I don't know. Why didn't they give it to Rita last time?
I don't know that she
Well,
was
that's
after
my
it.
point,
I don't
that-
know that she was after it.
She got a phone call
So
saying, why don't you run for mayor and I'll back you? And then an hour later, the same person's running around trying to make the mayor
all right,
himself.
let's just say this present council, the 11 that are there, are there next January. What votes can she get? That's the way. Just go through it. What votes can Danny get? What votes can she get? I think Danny could get the votes again. You know.
We'll see.
It's a long time though away, you know.
No,
because
it's
some
not.
Big issue, well, these are the issues coming up right now. So to me, I'd say the biggest issue that the schools are facing anyways is not losing the old Lowell Trade School.
They're going to lose a lot of money.
Especially giving that building away to like a nonprofit. I just
they-
can't see it happen.
What are they doing with
Well,
it now, Bobby?
last time that was open for anybody, CTI got it for daycare. And that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want that to happen. Special education, the biggest part of Lowell's budget, and probably every city across America's budget, there's something wrong with it. And we have a lot of kids at Lowell High that have a lot of special needs. That building would be perfect. I've already been in Danny's office once just to say, Dan, make sure we keep that building.
What are the special
What are they
needs now?
doing?
When you keep saying special needs, that's kind of
okay,
vague. but-
autistic kids laying on a floor screaming for 7 hours because they got such medical severe cases. I'm not just talking basic
Beating up
needs.
teachers?
Someone that has.
No, but
More
if we could
phys-
let's debate it
Go
a little
ahead.
bit. Let's
Yeah.
debate it a little bit. Then someone that disruptive and that medical need or whatever, why are they streamlined through the school system?
My big thing about that issue is when you say what their needs are, what I mean is, let's say you're working at Lowell High School, and there's a child that needs a new wheelchair. I'm just
I get it.
saying it. And you're told you can't get one. Can't get one. You know, what are they doing with the biggest piece of the budget? What would you do? You
Where's
try
the
to
kids?
find ways
Where's
to
the
cut
kid's
it, right?
wheelchair? Why is the school department's responsibility to get the wheelchair? Why doesn't that child have the wheelchair already in his family's possession?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean?
So
Like it's-
my thing is, you're spending, let's see what we spend all this large amount of money on special ed. Let's see it. I never seen it, and I was on the school committee for 7 years. They don't show you what they're spending that large part of the budget on. And that's my point. We need to see it. Because it's the same thing with staff, okay? You have staff that are making well over $100,000. They're there to take care of kids, and sometimes there's certain ones, their job description doesn't say, all you have to do is your paperwork in an office and don't come out and work with students. See, that's the big issue to me. What's your job description? What are you supposed to do? There's a lot of those things in special ed. You have another thing, speech pathologists. I know nothing about them other than they're very important. This is what the pros tell me. Very important, and we're down 5, maybe 6 of them in our system.
What are they doing, what are they
Well,
using the
it's
freshman
just-
academy now for?
I just think there's a bias against special education in a way because it has to grow. It's growing.
But what did we do? What did we do 50 years ago? I don't remember this.
yeah.
When I was in elementary school, I don't remember these. And when I was in elementary school, I was in Brockton, Mass, so similar to Lowell. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say like I was in some little country bumpkin in Pelham or something, and I didn't understand what was going on in the inner cities. But I just remember. And, you know, you never like to look back. I'm sure you know the same thing, and everybody in this room. But
I like
when I
looking
walked through the front doors of my school, we walked through the front doors, and I remember the principal's office was on the right side. Then there was like the vice principal's office, a nurse, and a guidance counselor. There was like 4 or 5. Maybe the custodian had an office in the downstairs. And then other than that, it was all teachers. There was not all this specialized doctor so-and-so and,
No powers either.
you know, and it seemed like the school operated relatively well. When did it become the school's responsibility to handle every?
Well, same here, when I was at Lowell High School, there was.
I'm
there
just,
was nothing
I'm
like
only,
it. No,
no, no,
I am not
I
making
wanna-
fun of
Go ahead,
what
Tom.
the schools are faced with, but I'm saying like, you know.
What happened?
You know,
Growth, population growth, more divorce, drugs,
Single
alcohol,
families.
all those issues have grown over the years,
Yep.
and now here we are. This
Yep.
is what you're dealing with.
Right.
I know Lowell High School myself. I dropped out in my junior year. Why? I blame most of it on a divorce, bouncing around, going to 11 different public schools, and then finally hit one over here that gave me a lot of, I like to call it beatings, on the back of my hand and on this side of the hand. And when I got elected, I went to all of those guys. Most of them are dead now. And I said, you remember hitting me? I'm Bob Hoey. I just got elected to the school committee. You can't tell people we hit you. I've said this story 100 times. You know what I said to them? I'm here to give you a pay raise. I'm here to give you a pay raise. Discipline's the second biggest issue in here.
Yeah, discipline.
Special ed right now, to me, because I know there's some children not getting what they need.
Right.
That's all. We're
Bobby,
Do you know how many special needs kids-
Everybody continues to forget. We need to teach the parents. Sorry for the blurry thing. I forgot to press one button. We need to teach the parents how to be parents.
Without a doubt.
agree.
And you know what? If your daughter is raising a kid all by herself, she needs your help. Okay, there's not enough. Somebody's got to sit down. I know you don't like it. I know you want to watch Oprah this afternoon on TV. When your grandkid gets home from school today, sit down, ask the kiddo about his day, her day. Let's look at
Yeah.
your homework together. This doesn't happen in the U.S. Oh no, we got to watch Oprah.
yeah, but you don't like to leave it, you know, but you don't, everything can't trickle down to, you know, to government and then local government and school teachers to raise your child for you, you know. Absolutely. I'm telling you, it's just another part of the, in my eyes, society today that is just broken. You know, when, you know,
That's
and
why
we over medicate these kids, and you know, back to my son. You know, we have him in elementary school, and early on in elementary school, his teachers thought he was hyperactive or whatever, and so we bring him, you know, to doctors, and then before you know, he's on Ritalin and Adderall and all this other crap at 6, 7 years old, and as he got older, he realized his brain was trained that, you know, that there's a drug to bring him up, a drug to bring him down, a drug to make him concentrate. And then eventually, you know, you get into the illicit drugs, you know, where he's finding that, you know, some of the street drugs do the same things for him. So his brain was trained right up until he was 32 years old that, you know, drugs were the answer. And I think that's another thing we do is I think we over-medicate children, and we're too quick to, give them pills at 6 and 7 years old. I mean, the way my father handled my ADHD was with chasing me around the yard, ready to beat the shit out of me with a belt,
Now we gotta watch our language.
Beep, sorry.
No, we can't get it back, so you just gotta be careful.
Bobby, how many
word
special needs
police
kids
are
are
out
in the
there.
school system? Do you know?
I don't know the exact
I'm saying
number.
we-
I
we-
would say somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000. though.
Wow, that many?
What's that? What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would say upwards of around 3,000. That have
3,000 what? I'm sorry.
Special needs
special
children.
needs.
Out of 15,000?
Right, but they have an EIP, right? Whatever that is.
Yeah.
But it's just, this is what your kid needs. He needs to be tested by himself in the corner. With the lights on, with the lights off. I'm just saying, they all go to see a neurologist. Soon as their kid might be just a discipline problem. And that's like alternative schools. I voted against them every time. I never believed in them. Fix your issue right in your school.
Hey, I got a nice text here. This might warm Jeff up a lot. The only reason people go to New Hampshire is vacation or to save sales tax. New Hampshire offers nothing, that's in bold, nothing for its working class citizens. Ayotte should choose her words very carefully. She's biting the hand that feeds her. Over to you, Jeff.
Well, people can argue how New Hampshire handles things, but, it's amazing how my daughter sells real estate, and 90% of her sales in New Hampshire are to people transplanting from Massachusetts. And then typically what happens, we don't pay city councilmen, and, my father was selectman in Pelham. I think he got paid $1,200 a year or something like that, So, these are, anyway, I believe New Hampshire really runs well. Unemployment is low. Crime is relatively low, maybe not in Manchester or Nashua, but overall the quality of life is great. And
Do they go to jail in New Hampshire?
do they go to jail?
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it the country club. Yeah, we go,
No, but I mean, Massachusetts, the problem is, in schools, if your kiddo whacks up, the kiddo gets kicked out of class, walks down to the principal's office, gets a lollipop and returns to the classroom with a lollipop in his mouth. That's how we handle discipline in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
That's what I'm told.
Well, I think the judicial
And
system
now,
up there is a lot stricter.
But so Jeff, how's discipline handled in Manchester?
well,
Like get just a lollipop, send me back to class? What happened?
I can't
If you
really
don't know,
talk.
that's okay.
I've never sent my kids to the inner city schools, so my grandchildren currently go to Hooksett. They're up and I have a granddaughter in Pinkerton in Derry.
Public or private?
Pinkerton is a private high school, but it's the public high school for Derry, New Hampshire.
Okay, so I'd be interested to see how your grandkid thinks about discipline in public high school.
I just feel really safe in New Hampshire. I know Ned had his incident there over the summer, but I just feel overall the quality of life and the lack of huge tax burdens and we have everything that you have down here. And I know when it comes to like special needs, we have special needs for kids and very happy there. Just incredibly happy there. And most people that move there are very happy there.
Having a lot of people from Massachusetts move to New Hampshire. I know a few
I'll
have.
tell you, sir.
Yeah,
And
well,
that's
they
what-
move.
and
Well, they
that's
move. Well, it's funny because they'll move to a town like Pelham, and they'll just go right over the border, and they'll move to Pelham, and then within short order, they're wondering why they have to, take their trash to the dump, and they're
yeah.
looking for city trash service,
Yeah.
and they're looking for, there's. Most people flush their toilets into their backyard and pump their water out of their front yard.
Yeah.
So, there's no city water department to call when things fail.
Because as Ned knows, New Hampshire was always a Republican state, all the government,
not-
and now it's basically a Democratic
Because
state.
it's-
except
well, they-
because
they
tend to
said in
come
part of
people moving up there.
Well, they tend to be a balance of power. You tend to find there's a nice balance of power. You find the governor will typically, when they vote a Republican governor, they'll vote a Democratic president,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, and vice versa.
They haven't had a Republican congressman up there. I can't. Do you remember the last
No.
one? Probably Sununu, right when he was the senator. But Yes.
But now, when Aon, and I like Kelly, I met her on the boardwalk down Happy Hampton Beach, and I think that she's a good, she was a nice person to talk to, very humble when I met her. Was she just speaking out of context with Lowell drug dealers, or was she at the podium, or did anybody really see her say whatever she said about Lowell? And not that it's, I mean, my son Joe tells me, people get the maddest when you tell them, and it's the truth. We do have drugs in Lowell. Lowell is a hub for selling drugs. And that's a fact.
For years.
We have guns? Sure we have guns. We have illegal guns? Yeah, we sure do. But say, oh, no, we don't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know we do. And I'll ask any one of my Lowellian friends, when was the last time you walked around your neighborhood you didn't feel frightened? Lowell's a frightening city to walk around in.
I think what Massachusetts, instead of, when you're here in Massachusetts, instead of criticizing what New Hampshire is doing, really look at your state and just the difficulties that you have in the state.
And I think that's what AOT should do too.
Yeah, and you don't have to, say, well, there's more people in Massachusetts or whatever, but there's also more educated people in Massachusetts. The one thing that Massachusetts boasts is great hospitals, great education system, great colleges, but it's a very, very, very expensive state to live in. And when the average person can't afford a house and can't afford their groceries and can't afford the health care and can't afford the taxes that they're paying, you got to look at it. You got to look and see what you might be doing wrong. And, and I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be starting out today and buying my first home. I don't know how it's done. I don't know how young people are doing it.
Tommy, you want to read it from Ned's fan club?
Good morning. It's great to see Ned this morning. We missed you last week, Jay.
It's Jay.
I don't know, just said
He's,
Jay.
he's the president of your fan club. You should know that. Good guy.
Well, I love Lowell. I think Lowell's a great city. I think it's been good to me, I've helped out a lot, to do a lot for people, but there is not, the faucet has to be shut off somewhere, and the people just expect, nothing aggravates me more than see a school bus pull up on a street in Lowell, honk the horn, because the kid in the bus, right?
Oh, I've seen that.
And wait for the mother to come out in their pajamas at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
What happened to kids standing have to walk at least a little ways and stand on a street corner? Since when do they pick up a kid in every driveway?
Let's remember, that's not the Lowell Public Schools. That's Community Teamwork Head Start. And if you go back, let's say, a long time ago, 40 years ago, let's say, 30 to 40 years ago, it was Head Start, all 4-year-olds. Just 4-year-olds were put in a bus, they were brought out to Tewksbury Hospital and Sullivan Centers, all these places. 1 year they hung together and they could all speak English. Well, what happened? They diluted it. They put 3-year-olds, 2-year-olds, 1-year-olds. It's all babysitting now. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a feeder program that we lost.
That's right.
How important is a feeder program? I mean, every issue has something. But when we were talking about special ed, Jeff, to me, do you know how many parents are and this is terrible to say, having children that should never even have them?
Yeah.
I agree.
Thousands.
And that's because we incentivize, in this country, having children, because it's pay to play, right? So more children you have, and this sounds very angry, white 60-year-old man, but, it's like, it's very, very difficult to watch sometimes, especially, young women, having 1, 2, 3 babies that they just
They don't
can't
have
afford.
4.
They
won't pay for 4.
But it's, and listen, people can do whatever they want, but then I have the right to argue, well, why do I have to pay for it? If you have the
Okay,
right to, so.
Bobby, you want to take these two? There's 2 coming up.
Most older people move back to Mass for the care they don't get in New Hampshire. Nashua has a great diner at the airport.
Tell us more, Jeff.
They do. Most airports have great diners, but yeah, actually, yeah, go visit the airport diner in Nashua, and the food's great. Little pricey, you know.
Everything's pricey.
Everything's
now.
pricey, but no, it's a great restaurant. Fun.
But Manchester's got it down to all the restaurants and bars and all together, you know, and it's great when you go down there at night. Plus the theater's there. We went down the other night to the show at the theater, Friday night. So what did we do? We went out to eat first. Now there was 10 of us at the table. You know, that's a good bill for that restaurant.
Yeah.
And but the show was fabulous. It's 2 piano players that play, and they do, you know, my music, 90s and over, you know. But they do it, and you see the people walking in the streets down there. And they do have a homeless problem. I think they moved them all somewhere.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
Everybody has their problems. Every city has their problems, and I'm not entirely sure. I find more people retiring. The last message there. I find more people coming to New Hampshire and staying in New Hampshire rather than moving back when they get older. I don't actually see that trend, but yeah, it's so we're talking about Lowell, so but in national politics, so not really about New Hampshire, but
Well, it's part of what,
for
you know.
me, it's a great place to. It's a great.
Didn't
place
we
to-
have Pelham at one time, John, here on your list of,
Yeah.
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 what happened there? They just didn't want to.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they got a new executive director. I never asked them. They just, we're in Salem.
Oh, wow.
So Bob, I have a question.
Well,
I
so-
have a question about Lowell, the Lowell school system. So I wanted
Yeah.
you were talking. How many languages are being spoken in the Lowell school system?
76.
Between 70 and 80.
70. Yeah. So
Imagine that. Wow.
You
which
know-
is amazing. I can't. It blows my mind. I didn't know there was 70 languages in the world, but the
We're like number 3. Boston, and then Malden. They
but
have
what
a
is
higher
the goal
percentage.
to get all the students speaking English? Like, what's that? Is there an actual?
We don't have an official language, Jeff. Why should, you don't have to learn English. You go to the supermarket just like I do, and they're speaking Swahili
Right,
in the
but-
aisle like it's nothing.
Yeah, but I'm saying but in this. Ned and I were talking about this the other day. Ned and I talk a lot of politics, and we usually we tend to agree but disagree. That's how it usually goes.
That's a good way to do it.
But we were talking about the Lowell school system the other day, and it's just only because we've had these conversations, and I certainly understand when a family migrates here, and you certainly by law you have to educate those people, but how many years do you give, a first grader or a second grader to actually, whether we argue what our language is, but the English language, when they actually have to be, able to use the English language and learn moving forward in the school system, and that's my question.
Well, I
that's
think
my question.
Maybe the way I'd like to answer that is we've picked, if you look at the demographics of Lowell, we've picked up about 40,000 Southeast Asians 40 years ago. 40 or 50 years ago. They have a love for schools that's beyond you'd never see it from
Indian
another.
too.
Well,
they learn it, but
without
they
a doubt,
quickly-
but
but
they
they
don't
quick-
live in Lowell. Let me just stick with Lowell for
Yeah.
one instance. And they have no problem learning quick. Southeast Asian people, most of them learn real quick, and they'll be speaking English, I would say, by the time they're 5, the ones that were born here in America. Now, if you look at the population of Hispanics, which is in our high school, number 1, it's like 45%. There's what most of your issues are. I mean, we have to be real about some things. And and then the Lowell side, the white side of people, Caucasians, whatever you want to call it, they're from very low income, most of them. The real rich ones already moved to New Hampshire, or they moved to Florida. Our system has changed so much that we're very lucky in Lowell. We are, because of, I like to put it bluntly, Southeast Asian people.
Mark Kratman just
I'll
sent me
be
this.
back. I'll be back. But
Say, Mark,
It's-
you can call us up and tell us what's going on in your life. Love to hear from you.
And I hate to pinpoint it like this, Jeff, right? But demographics, I think that's the word I want to look at. We have a pretty good demographics in Lowell that we don't have a lot of gun shooting off, okay? Not like they do down in Dorchester, Roxbury, Hyde Park, those areas. We don't have that here. Now and then you'll see one. In Nashua, we just and John earlier said, does Nashua, New Hampshire put people away? They sure do.
Yeah, they do.
Someone just got double life for killing someone in my family.
Oh,
Shooting
Ned-
him,
well, Ned-
executing a girl.
Let's zero in on Ned. He got beat up pretty bad.
Yeah.
Where's that guy?
He's out on bail, but that's the, that's the,
That's the
basically
liberal.
where,
That's
it's
the
not a
lib-
New Hampshire thing, it's just,
No, that's a
defunding
that's
the
a
police all around the country.
liberalization of your state. 20 years ago, where would he be? He'd be in jail.
Oh, they'd be in jail. Oh,
This
absolutely.
guy is he's attempted murder, and he's out on bail.
Yeah, yeah. We actually have a hearing this
I
week.
thought you
There's
guys had a stronger judicial system than we did, meaning stricter.
They try to keep him there, and they
You know,
try to let
they-
him go.
there's a lot of things in the judicial system that we could go on and on and on and on, but they just there's people walking on the streets that shouldn't be walking on the streets. Period.
My wife
and
worked in Lowell for 25 years, and the things she saw in the judicial system, it's beyond belief. I
yeah,
mean,
and
people
I'm
just
sure
walking away.
Bob can tell you even other stories, and it's we're a country of laws. I really feel it. We're a country of laws, and if we stuck to the punishments and we did the right things all the time, and made them harsh penalties, I believe the crime rates would plummet. I really believe it, and I believe it. The same thing, even with the drug problems and everything else we got going, make harsh penalties.
So the guy
And when they go home and they tell their friends how really crappy it is in the situation that they're in, where they're incarcerated, what life is like behind bars, then I feel, because right now no one feels like no one's going to do anything. I mean, no one's going to do anything.
Nothing's going to happen to me.
Nothing's going to happen to me. Yeah, I mean,
I just walked into 7-Eleven, stole that dozen of eggs, and it's not stealing. I needed it.
yeah. We're not talking about dozens of eggs. We're talking about the violent crimes.
But I get away with the dozen of eggs. Next, I take the refrigerator. Next, I take the cash register while I'm there. At what point, he should have got arrested with a dozen eggs.
Yeah.
Inconvenience the person at that point.
Yeah.
That's why I think in Lowell right now, if you lived in Lowell, and I do, I just feel it's moving in a great direction.
Yeah.
It's going after drugs. We close tons of bars. Ned, remember I used to run a bar, you run a bar years ago. They're all churches now.
Yeah. There was
They're all
56
churches, all the bars are
in Lowell.
gone. And thank God they go after alcohol, because to me, alcohol is equivalent to drug problem. It's equivalent. There's people that drink that should never have an ounce of alcohol in their life. I have friends that way. I don't drink, but guess what?
Maybe she should have bartenders at churches, and that might bring up
just-
attendance. Bring up
Yeah, they have
attendance.
lousy wine.
I seen that yesterday with Trump trying to bring God back into everything, religion, trying a little bit
Oh, my
anyways.
God.
But even when we were kids, right, whether we were bad behaved or got ourselves in a little bit of trouble, there's still the fear of God in either the fear of your father, the fear of, like we may have acted up as as 12-year-olds running the streets of Lowell and Brockton and everything, but at the same time, we didn't want to be caught. We knew what the repercussions were going to be. We knew if our old man got a hold of us or even the neighbor saw us do something, we didn't want
Neighbors would call you parents
and we
and tell you.
certainly we respected cops because, and I know we did because as soon as you saw either a beat cop walking or a police car coming down the street, you were in your best behavior. You didn't flick them off. I mean, today there's just no respect for police.
My father
They
died.
can't get guys to take police jobs anymore. People won't even sign up to take the exam.
No,
My
So-
father,
so
my
shot.
father passed away 25 years ago, and the one memory I have after listening to you, Jeff, is one day he came and punched me right in the nose, bloodied my nose.
Yep.
all because I said the F word to his mother. Why would he hit me in the nose? I was saying my dad
Bet
hit
you
me in
never
the
said the
nose.
F word to your mother
Never.
again.
My grandmother.
Yeah, your
I
grandmother.
said
Oh,
the
your grandmother.
F-bomb. I lived with her, and we just had a disagreement, and I was that bad of a child, and I'll never forget that. He punched me in the face because I said the F word to his mother.
Yeah,
And
well.
then, as you get older, you look back and you say, "Whoa, man, how did you ever say that to your grandmother?"
That's
I
right.
mean, God.
That's right. Well, I can tell you what, I've never said that to my
No,
grandmother.
that's no. I'm just.
I never did.
Hey, I know one thing. I
Hey,
love.
guys, we gotta go to break. We'll be
Yeah.
All
back
right,
in like 30 seconds.
we'll be back. Good morning and welcome to City Life. My name's Ned Tarmey. Next to me is my nephew Jeff. Today's his birthday. And then Bob Hoey, former school committee man, future school committee man, and Tom Bomil. I have too many committees for you're on, Tom, to name them all, but Tom's, they,
Speaking of birthdays, it's Diana Caulfield's birthday as well.
yeah.
Diana Caulfield's birthday today. So we got rolling the clock back for just a minute here, boys. This is from the last hour. Tom, can you read this?
Jeff says we're a country of laws, yet his boy Trump pardons 1,500 people who attacked the Capitol 4 years ago, some that were violent and assaulted police.
Well, let me respond to.
Well, I'd like to respond to that. My name's there, so I'd like to respond to that real quickly.
right
I
ahead.
mean, in the last few weeks, Biden has
I was gonna say the same thing.
has pardoned 14,500 people for all different kinds of crimes. So, you know, I'm not going to argue about what Trump is doing, but I'd like the list of the 14,500 people and see what they have done. So,
And what did the people he pardoned, did Joe Biden pardon yesterday? What did they do wrong to get pardoned?
you know,
Tom, you want to read this one?
Unfortunately, there's no accountability for any actions. If the courts actually did their job, then maybe crime would go down slightly. Amen. Absolutely.
I agree.
They just don't. People walk every day. The person that hurt Ned that's out on bail, is he at least on a monitor or bracelet? Nothing.
no, he's
ankle
nope,
bracelet,
nope,
nothing.
nope.
So you can go down
Currently,
to market basket, do anything you
Let's
want.
just steer away from that particular case because I don't want to hear from anybody's attorney. So we'll just steer away from specific
Yeah,
cases and
yeah,
talking generalities, please.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to go into courtrooms and watch people walk, and and then I'm sure there's innocent people that are doing time. But the system is broken. The system is broken for sure.
We warehouse people.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't have a lot of opinion on that. And as far as the last person that spoke about Trump and the January 6 riots, there's protests all around this country, and I've been in the middle of Hamas protest, and I've been in the middle of Black Lives Matter protest.
How many people went to jail over there?
And nobody goes to jail over those riots. And I can assure you, some of the Black Lives Matter riots that I've seen, and I have video, were pretty scary to be part of. And I will argue with the January 6th that there were no guns found, no weapons, just a pretty angry group of people, and it got out of hand. So, and many of them have spent a lot of time in jail, and they paid the price for it. So, that's it. Glad they're home.
Well, my wife, when I checked in with her yesterday from work, and she was glued to the inauguration. She says, I can't get away from the TV set. I'm watching the inauguration.
Yeah, I did
And it was
too.
all about, she wanted to see Melania's outfit. That's,
Oh, yeah.
and Melania looked interesting with her hat on yesterday.
The hat, yeah.
Wouldn't have been my choice, but for a cold day, I suppose that's okay. But
She's
then,
a model. That's
then-
what it is.
And her, I'll find the picture in a minute, put up on the screen. The beautiful dress she had last night for the ball was exquisite. So Ellen was happy when she finally saw it.
Well, I was glued to the TV as well for the first time ever. I'd never got so into that day before. You know, I always was at work, got home, and saw the highlights, the highlight reel, and I was glued to the TV.
Yeah, I think I watched it from 9 o'clock yesterday.
Very
morning to
impressive.
9 o'clock
It was,
last night.
it was fun.
So did I.
Very,
Well, I was
very, very
about TT in
impressive. You know,
between, yeah.
you know, like I said earlier, I really feel like the country is just heading in the wrong direction, and you just need big, dramatic changes. You know,
You know,
and
I
you're
saw-
gonna tee off some people, but we just need to get back to what made this country great.
You know, Jeff,
You know.
when you say that wrong direction, when I talk to a lot of people, and seniors, especially old people, when I meet them at Market Basket or whatever, that's the first thing I hear out of their mouth. We're on the wrong track. So
On the
we're
wrong
going
track.
in the wrong direction. And I finally feel, as a grandfather of 5, there's some hope. That's how I felt yesterday. I felt
Yeah.
so good yesterday.
Well,
Oh.
I have a family member. She does everything the right way. I'll just generalize. She's married, got married first, 25 years old. Her husband works hard. She's able to be a stay-at-home mom, and their income is about $83,000. They got great credit. They've saved a sizable down payment for a house. The only thing they can qualify is for a $300,000 house. And like I said, they do it the right way. They have one child,
they
stay at
stay,
home,
yeah.
$83,000 a year income, stay at home mom, takes care of her child, does a great job, saves money. And at this rate, they'll never own a home.
Sad, but
Very sad.
I
Very
promised
sad.
a picture of Melania in her ball outfit, and she looks her exquisite self.
Oh, she's absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful.
You know,
Yesterday she had a hat on in one picture, I forget where.
All day long she had it around.
Yeah.
I'll find the
I
hat.
liked it,
Yeah.
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 Very pretty.
Watching the inauguration yesterday, and I know it's protocol, whatever you want to call it, but Obama and Clinton, they didn't want to be there.
No.
Why are they forced to go? I mean, I
Neither
know,
did George Bush.
No,
I know Bush, and then give Trump credit, he didn't go 4 years ago. He didn't. He's not going to be a phony. I don't. I feel bad for them because they just looked uncomfortable there. Meaning Obama and Clinton and even Bush. He really. It was good to see Dan Quayle, the former vice president. He was there, but I just don't get why. I know.
And
I
they
know it's
booed,
protocol.
and
I
they
know it's
booed
courtesy.
the vice president.
Yeah. But I know
With Trump.
it's a courtesy, but they shouldn't have to go. They
Really,
were very
the face,
uncomfortable.
the face of the most uncomfortable is Harris. Harris. I mean, she
felt
is.
bad for her. I mean,
It just goes to show. I don't really think they all like each other anyway.
Oh, no, they don't.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's a very difficult thing to go to work and just argue with people.
The
to get
problem
here
was
and there.
how Biden don't like each other because Biden went with Hillary.
Well,
That's
yeah.
just to make everybody happy this morning. Everybody's up there on the screen of how exquisite they look, and that's the hat.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
pretty
Melania's
sharp.
hat they're talking about
Yeah.
yesterday.
Pretty classy. Pretty classy.
I mean, it's coming out now that Schumer was behind the whole thing getting, Ned, have you heard about that? Chuck Schumer was behind the whole thing getting Biden out with Pelosi and
Pelosi, yeah.
and I know that
Pelosi's
Jill
an
has, Jill
effort
has
now.
no use for Harris, and you know
Yeah.
she doesn't.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's-
But
And
how
she's-
would
she's
how would
nothing now.
how would Biden have handled it yesterday? Right? I mean, he's so feeble. I mean,
I felt
here you got
Yeah.
what Trump is close to. Is he late 70s or
78,
78 years
yeah.
old?
Yeah.
I mean, he went on
He's 80.
all, and he went on
Trump's
all
80?
whatever he
Oh, I
is.
didn't think he was that
But it's
old.
amazing. He went on all day long, live TV. You never saw him dozing off or bored. He couldn't wait to speak. He talked to everybody. The guy's a class act, man. I'm
I wonder
sorry.
what pills he's on.
You know, no, I don't care what pills he's on.
I'm only kidding.
He is. I'm telling you, I really feel it. I really.
He likes
really feel it.
McDonald's food, Ned.
I know it.
He eats,
I
that's where
hate
we're
it.
going next week, McDonald's.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, I got two texts here. Keep pressing the wrong doggone button here. So, Bobby, you got these.
The TDS in Methuen is hilarious.
What's that?
I don't know.
It's Trump derangement
Oh,
syndrome.
Oh, gee.
I know who that is.
I know who that is.
Yeah.
And we got one more, Bobby.
We all had parents who wouldn't think twice about giving us a smack if we acted out. Jay.
Yep.
Yeah,
My mother used to give a strap on her shoulder.
that might be the big
Act
difference.
up,
I remember
yeah.
I said that once on one of the campaigns I was on, that we need to have children, they need to have some fear. Like there's something, you're going to pay a penalty if you do something wrong.
My
Vice
father,
principals, people say, we don't need vice principals. Well, the first hour and a half of their day, they have to deal with bus issues, what's happened on that bus.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
my
And-
father, when we were kids, you get a little trouble. He was there, I'm taking you to the police. I'm taking you to the pastor. You were more afraid of the pastor. Because the pastors ran the city in those days. Twist, Keenan, Hyder, and there's another one.
But they didn't do any work, they just had the nuns do it. That's how I felt. The nuns were the ones I
yeah,
was afraid
but
of.
But we're seeing it now in the young people today who just are really struggling to manage life. We can coddle people. We can put them. We can, you can grow up, and your dad can call you call you a princess, and call you whatever. But you get into the school systems, and we coddle you, and we push you through, and eventually you get out of the system, and there's a real world that's going to hit you in the face, and there's not going to be that paraprofessional for you. There's not going to be that tutor, that person in the background telling you you're great and has been handing out 10th place trophies for the first 18 years of your life. You're gonna the real world is gonna smack you in the
Yeah.
face.
When did they start giving every kid a trophy?
I
And
do,
When did they start giving every kid a trophy?
But and that's the problem. And now you just see this whole segment of our society where, like I said, 22 million men, 25 to 45, that just can't get their act together. And there's nothing wrong with them other than they're the
Lazy.
whatever.
I spend a lot of time watching a third grade right now. And you have maybe, let's say, 25 children in the classroom. About a little bit more than half can read at maybe a fifth grade level. Definitely can read at my level, fifth, sixth grade level. They're terrible. I was terrible at reading, and I faked my way all the way through. These people have heard this story, Jeff, many a times off me. Until someone caught me and knew that I just had the gift of gab, and I couldn't read. And I didn't want to stand up and read in front of girls, never wanted to do that. I didn't want the embarrassment. But now I look at the third grade, my granddaughter's class, she reads at a very high level, either fifth or sixth grade level, but she's in the third grade. And half of her classmates, about half, can't read even at a first grade level.
Yeah.
And they just...
Go ahead, Bob, finish your,
Yeah, so what happens is, and it's not their fault, but they disrupt the classroom. So the kids that do know how to read at a fourth or fifth grade level are just bored. They're sitting in the classroom, and those students will follow that other student all the way up through high school.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we catch it early enough and get them reading by the time they're in the third grade, the problems will go away. A lot of them will
I
go
agree.
away.
I agree.
But I'm sorry, John, you had
Tommy,
a...
you got this one.
Okay, why didn't me, John?
Yes.
Why
Tommy.
didn't such a religious man as the right somehow believes place his hand on the Bible while being sworn in? Yes, the conservatives would have gone nuts. If a Democrat had kept his hand by his side, first of all, you don't have to have your hand on the Bible. I'll answer that one. You don't. I mean, it's a tradition, I know, but you don't have to have your hand on the Bible.
It was a photo,
and
it was
it's
a
just
photo
the-
opportunity, that's all.
But it was also, for some reason, and Jeff brought it up, I think they was seemed to speed the process up. Roberts was like in a hurry, and then Melania didn't move in quick enough, you know, but you don't have to have, when I'm sworn in and Drake in front of the office, we don't put our hand on a Bible, so I don't know where. I don't even know if-
raise your hand.
Well, anybody,
Raise your hand.
anybody could just pick apart what you
Who are you
saw little
swearing to?
things yesterday. You got to see the big picture.
When you're sworn in, Tommy and Draken, who are you swearing to?
But-
No, really, when you're sworn in and Draken,
the town
who
clerk.
are you swearing to?
Well, yeah, that's right.
The
Rules
rules and
and
regulations.
regulations, yeah, you don't, yeah.
So,
And
to
the,
paper.
There's no so help me God in there when we're
No.
sworn in, there's no, you know.
All the bylaws of the city or the, you know.
What are you trying to say, John? What are you
Yeah, he's trying to stir
Oh,
the
are you
pot.
going down, a
swearing-
rabbit hole here? or
I'm
what?
swearing into a piece of paper. So it's a photo opportunity.
it's a photo
party.
opportunity,
We got
and it's a
elected,
tradition.
we won, you didn't, that's
Yeah.
what, and like Elon Musk said on YouTube yesterday, he's dancing around on some stage and says, this is what victory feels like.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You know, and I'd like, you know, they're talking about one of the things that Trump said yesterday. One of his orders yesterday, or whatever you want to call it, was to send all federal employees back to the office. And what's wrong with that? I mean, honest to God, what the heck is wrong with that? You know, like, you know, we've played this COVID, you know, can't go back to work, Jeremy places, but, you know, our society is built around, you know, getting educated, getting a job, and going to an office. And the importance of going to an office isn't just, well, I could do the job at home. That's not what it's all about. It's about they build all these towers, all these buildings, and around all these buildings, they build barbershops, sub shops, restaurants, clothing stores that rely heavily on these people going to work.
right.
You know?
And
And it's how our society is built,
You're
you know,
absolutely right.
and it's not about, can I just stay home and do the job better? It's really not what it's about. It's about
Socialization.
socialization, filling an office space. And hey, 100 years from now, it may just be different. But right now, this is how we built our society. It's how it works. It helps everybody. It helps the guy at the gas station, you know, putting gas into a car. You purchase a car, it helps the auto industry, the car that you transport yourself to work, the gas, the maintenance you do to that car, keeps mechanics in business, keeps the gas stations in business, and the local restaurants around where you have your lunch, your Dunkin' Donuts where you get your coffees in the morning. It's a big part of our society. And if we take that away, what are we going to do with these big cities and these big buildings and these skyscrapers and all the mom and pop stores and the
Housing.
and the housing? you
Housing.
know? Because if you don't have to, you know, work in Boston, then you're not going to want to live in Boston.
Well, Jeff,
right?
my big question to the government has always been, even when Bernie Lynch was our city manager, I know of at least, when Bernie Lynch was the manager, 2 no-show jobs they have in the city.
Yeah.
People never go to work, they
Yeah.
get their check,
Yeah.
they never go to work.
Yeah.
And that continues through today.
Yeah.
Imagine the problem we have in the federal government. And even if we do force them to go back to work, physically go back to their office, they're not going to answer the phone.
Yeah.
And
They don't answer phones at all, ever.
excellence has gone out of it, and it's because of peer pressure. Well, why don't you answer the phone? Well, he doesn't answer the phone. Well, why doesn't he answer? Well, he's Tommy's friend. That's nobody
No, they
says
do. They
anything
have,
to him.
I'm away
Well,
from
we're
my
gonna-
desk at this time. I'll call you back later, is what they use.
Well, I heard that a lot of these private sector companies in Boston and around are encouraging work at home because they're now they're closing their building offices.
Well,
down
but that's a
saving on
different. But
rents.
that's a different problem. There's
Yeah.
This was on a business report, so I haven't read it, but I listened to this on. I don't want to tout the station, but I listen to this business report every single day.
Well, what station?
WRKO, right? So, these guys are money guys, but they talk about the economy and what's going on every single day. And one of the numbers that I heard, I can't prove it's true, but right now, commercial landlord rent defaults are like 30% right now. So like vacancy rates are like 40% in these big cities, and the default rate on rent payments is like 30%.
Man.
So that's part of the economy that you don't see. So when they're talking about like for consumer, like consumer credit or credit card debt or whatever,
Sure.
they're not talking about what's going on in commercial real estate. And you just don't want to watch these buildings die, the Prudential buildings of John Hancock's
Oh, right,
and things like
exactly,
that.
yeah.
I mean, you what are we going to do with them, right? I mean,
Well, Jeff, I mean, respectfully, okay, we need all this housing. Everybody who goes to an office goes to a home. So they have two places where they reside, work and home.
right.
Why don't we just transfer these office buildings into living space?
Well, eventually that might be the direction we go.
They're
but,
doing that in Boston.
you know,
They're doing that now.
We did
They
that with
do.
all of our mills.
But even you just look in the mills of Lowell, you could just see the mills of Lowell here that used to be old, cotton mills and whatever, and textile mills. They're now housing. But still, you can make them all housing, but people still need places to go to work to pay for that housing, right? I mean, we can't.
Not
It's a
if you work from
catch-22.
home. Not if you, because when you call an office, you call a doctor's office, okay? How do you know they're really in the office?
Well, they're really.
Hello, Dr. Tommy, can I help you?
Well, but that's the other problem that you don't see. Like big corporations, if you're not going to get workers, like a company like UPS, Amazon, they're not going out of business. As quickly as people don't want to come in and apply for the jobs, they're going to either move the job overseas or they'll automate the jobs, right? So, you'll go from, guys and gals handling packages, say at an Amazon or a UPS or a FedEx or something like that. And once people don't want to do that anymore, well, the company still is going to operate. They're not going to close a multi-billion-dollar corporation, so they're going to find a way to automate it. So eventually, that job just goes away forever. And then finally, when you do need a job, you've thrown your hands up and said, I better go to work. That job won't be there for you. So those are the kind of things that I think of. And I also think of. In a society like this, all these things that we want and pay for, and right down to police, schools, roads, bridges, fire departments, but military, and then to the, to housing and welfare and Social Security and everything. We need people paying into the tax system. I mean, let's face it, it's a pyramid scheme. So we need young people behind us paying into that system through taxes and.
Well, how much trouble do you think LA is in when they lost 12,000 tax bills?
Yeah, well, they're in a lot of trouble. But this is my my theory on all that, right? You shouldn't have built there in the first place, right? And so now it's gone, and some very wealthy people. Let's throw it out let's throw Oprah Winfrey out there. Why should the taxpayers' dollars buy, one of the richest women in the United States of America, why should I pay to rebuild her house in it, right?
No, but how about but for the city of Los Angeles, They have 12,000 people who are not going to pay a tax bill.
They're not going to pay a tax bill. They're not going to make their mortgage payments. They're not going to,
So this
there's no school to send their kids to, right?
Oh, schools are gone too.
You know, the schools are gone, right? The neighborhoods are gone, the stores are gone, and, yeah, it's a big problem.
And-
But this is where I'm gonna find out, we'll find out, we're all gonna find out now how
I'm gonna-
California really is about windmills and solar panels.
I'm gonna
We'll
move
see if
over
they
to-
build, you
to these
know,
announcements real quick, and if you want an announcement on City Life, just get a hold of me. That's my cell phone number, and I'll be happy to put your announcement out there. Okay, so the Keefe Family Polar Plunge is this
Great.
weekend.
This Saturday, yeah.
no.
Who are they giving the money to?
So
Huh?
Charlie Cannabis, and I forget the other gentleman's name.
they help, so the good cause, a lot of eye candy that day, watch people run into the cold water, so that's gonna be.
Where do they jump? Where do they go in?
Seabrook.
Seabrook.
Oh, they go to Seabrook?
Seabrook. The Keefe Family
Bobby
Polar
goes.
Plunge is this Sunday.
You do it?
Yep, I'll be doing it, yeah.
You're going in?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be a boss, Dan.
No, I'm gonna go in. I'm not diving in like I did last year and almost drowned. I'm gonna walk in.
I'll be the bartender. I'll be the bar. I'm bringing the hot cocoa truck.
If you want more information about this, go to the Keefe Family Polar Plunge, their website down below there.
Thanks for doing that, John.
If you're down on your luck and you need some free food or you want to volunteer, this is a good group of people. A lot of places that are lovely. I'm trying to shrink this up so you can see the whole thing, but I won't do it today. So these are a lot of places where you can get free food. They also need volunteers. So if you're feeling, I want to do my fair share, well, be in touch with St. Joseph the Worker or Merrimack Valley Catholic Charities or Open Pantry, Greater Lowell. There's a lot of places that need your help. So be in touch, walk over.
And these people work hard. These people work hard in these places.
They do, and there's volunteers.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, if you got somebody who, you know, always has change in their ashtray, or we don't call them ashtrays anymore, your cup holder or whatever in your car, and you're so inclined to hand change over or dollar bills over to the panhandlers on the corner,
Don't.
you know, don't do that. Bring that same $5 and bring it over to one of those charities, and they'll make that go a lot further than that person on the street corner. And I'm not knocking anybody who has to stand on the street
Nope.
corner and beg,
Jeff,
but
good
you're
point.
gonna do more for that person if there's a Salvation Army or
I
a soup kitchen that can help them out on a daily basis rather
Totally
than
agree.
Now, riding the bus, LRTA bus, they're all free. Just give a hearty wave to the bus driver. He or she will pull over, pick you up, put you in a nice toasty bus, and the ride is free until September.
do all these buses pass these shelters and things like that.
September.
Tom,
No, what
how's it
happens
going?
is,
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll know more.
when they
today.
get to the termination stop, everybody gets off the bus.
But I'm saying they pass all the shelters, you know, like you can get on a bus and get to a shelter if you were.
Well, no, well, Jeff, this is a great service that the LRTA puts out. Tommy's on the board.
No, it's a great service. I
And
think it's great.
we need to have buses forever.
Yeah.
Poor people need a ride.
That's
Mom
right.
says it year round.
You hop in your fancy truck, I hop in my fancy truck and hit remote start. Well, there are a lot of people standing in a bus because they don't have.
No, I get it. I understand. I mean, I
abundance-
think public transportation is very important and affordable public
Now,
transportation.
if you're hungry and you're 60 today, right?
61.
Pot roast.
61. See, you can go to the senior center. Have you had the senior center lunch yet? Today is January.
Well, I have,
21st.
I also come from this, I will say the senior center can afford to feed 40, 50 people a day. I can afford to feed myself, so I'd like my meal to go
I'll
to
tell
somebody
you,
who
I've
needs it.
gone down there. No, you don't have to be poor.
I didn't say you
I'm
have to
sorry,
be
I'm
poor.
sorry,
I
I'm
just
sorry.
like to know that,
Oh, they're having our shepherd's pie.
Okay, I'm gonna finish this up, okay? Today, we're gonna have pot roast. Over the senior center, you need $2. Just walk in the front door, give Tara your $2. If you don't have your $2, it's free. But good feed. I'm sorry I missed the shepherd pie on Sunday. That would have.
We're having that for supper tonight.
we had it last night.
Last night we had it. We already had it.
Now these people are a little down on their luck. Okay, the Mill Number 5, the group. Okay, they're having a fundraiser and they have a GoFundMe page. So think about helping them out. Great group of people. They're moving over to St. Jean the Baptist, former St. Jean the Baptist facility. Was a church, magnificent church. One of the most beautiful churches I was ever in my lifetime.
They bought that?
They're moving in there. I don't know what about the money circumstances, Ned, but they're moving in there. Let's see if we got any more announcements here. Oh,
That's
yeah. This is from Keith Rudy. Every Thursday, the Golden Gloves. So if you got nothing, if you want to see a good fight, go down to the Golden Gloves. And it's cheap money to get in there, and just give it a thought.
Not like they used to be,
That's
though.
my
How
last
40 years ago, the Golden Gloves? Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Tuesday
Oh,
night was
God.
Tuesday night. It was a big society night. Every girl in Lowell was marching around the hallways.
Laurie Purcell, a girl I
Yeah.
know, has done a lot to keep
Yeah,
the Golden
she is
Glove.
Saw
great.
Laurie about a week ago at the market basket in Charlton. Former health inspector.
Yeah, she's done a lot for the Golden Gloves.
Always a great gal.
Yeah.
They still get the crowds?
Yeah, they do okay.
Yeah.
Keith does the radio show, doesn't he? The finals. They
Yeah, I bought
broadcast
2
them.
sets of tickets so far. I got my final set. I already bought that. I can't go all the time, but I do. I'll go to the finals.
We used to go every week, you know, stopped going years ago, but I saw some great fights.
I fought once in
Did
the
you?
low Golden Gloves. Yeah.
Did you?
Just once. Then I knew who I was.
Did you make
I
the whole
know.
3 rounds?
I won by a TKO, but then I seen who I was going to fight the next week, and I dropped. I quit. I don't want to fight no more. It wasn't worth it. you know?
I had a friend, his name was Louis Pacheco. He's a middleweight, and this goes back 40 years ago. And oh man, what a fighter! Oh my goodness gracious, the kindest, kind-hearted, janitorial guy. You wouldn't always singing, and he bragged about he was gonna fight, and I went to the fight, and I said he's gonna get his butt kicked, you know, and he threw. Oh my God, I'll never forget the night. I'm thinking like, Louis, holy crap, right? And I watched him about 10 fights, won every one of them. He was fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at Dickie, not Dickie, Mickey Ward. He's calm, quiet.
Nice,
yeah.
nice
He's the
kid.
nicest kid in the world, and he still beat the,
Hey, it's got to be in you, though. It has to be in you. It has to be in you. There's
In you.
something
It has to
about
be in you.
it. Has to. It's got to be in you. You can't.
Mickey Ward is a warrior.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he can take a beating and keep coming
yeah,
at you.
You gotta be able to take the beating. You
Yeah.
gotta, that's the one thing. Being a kid from Brockton, like the boxing was a big thing for a lot of the young kids in Brockton.
That's what famous boxer came from Brockton.
What's that?
Rocky Marciano.
Marciano
And the other guy, too, the bald-headed guy,
Marvin Hagler, but
Hagler.
but I wasn't a boxer, so I'm not gonna pretend. But I mean, I knew some of the guys, and just
Sure.
knowing who they were, there was no way in good conscience that you could just say, yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna.
Look how big the Silver Mittens were years ago.
Phil Shea was a Golden Gloves champion.
yeah.
Former senator,
Ned,
former counselor.
Did you know a guy named Dave Gregoire?
I heard
Do you
the
remember
name.
that? He used to pick us up in his station wagon, bring us up into New Hampshire to have a boxing match. And I remember you'd get $5, he'd take $1 for gas, $1 for wraps. You'd get $3, you'd stop at Espresso, you could feed the whole wagon. For $3, you could feed them.
Yeah, I forgot a couple of these announcements. This, Mark Kratman just sent me this about
Yeah.
Tewksbury Lions Club presents Music Bingo.
That's a great thing, music bingo.
And Friday, February 7th, 2025, the Tewksbury Wilmington Elks, 77th South Street in Tewksbury, $250 a table at 10. Doors open at 6:30. Bingo starts at 7. They have one of those computer QR codes here. If you take your camera on your phone, you zero in on this, will bring you to a web page for more information. But Ned, in your, what is music bingo?
They play songs, and you have a piece of paper, and on it, instead of the letters BINGO, in a block, so it'll be the name of a song. When it's playing, if you have it, you win it.
But they don't tell you what the name of the song is.
Right,
So in the
right.
music bingo, you'll have a bingo card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll be, names of songs or names of artists or something. And then they play this, the DJ plays the song, and they don't yell out, it's the Village People YMCA. You have to know it's the
It's like
Y.
name that tune.
Yeah, name that tune, and then that's how you cross off your.
Okay.
So
your
Mark
ticket.
Kratman, as you can see, is still involved. He sent you that, so he's
Yeah,
still.
Mark did, yeah.
Yeah.
He don't do what
Moving
nobody
right
else
along.
does.
Other comments from the audience. This
Oh, there-
is Elon Musk.
Oh, they were talking that last night. This is called the Roman salute. I don't know what it means.
Well, the thing I get a kick out of is media forgets to tell you, they're taking 400 pictures per second.
That's right. They can
Yeah.
find
The new
any,
video cameras they have nowadays,
right.
400 pictures per
pick and
second,
choose.
where they can zoom in on every 400 on this guy's
Right.
face, on his nose. The digital photography that's out there is
No.
absolutely magnificent. You look at your television set.
And then with AI today, they can even doctor that picture up and make it
I'm,
look like
I'm
something
sure
else.
this is for real, but I mean,
But-
at 400 frames per second,
Yeah.
some guy just insta-head, and the media can make you look good or
Right.
make you look bad.
Right. Well, I'm not gonna. I think it's amazing that Donald Trump is tied in with Elon Musk, and in my opinion, Elon Musk is the Albert Einstein of the 21st century. I mean,
Jeff,
the
since
guy.
you got the floor, you're reading.
The guy is a genius. Calling Donald Trump a class act is a bit of a stretch. Melania is a class act. Opposites attract. Okay, whatever. You know.
This one.
One of the best things from President Trump's speech was mentioning the people in North Carolina are still having a hard time after the hurricanes. Yeah, it's amazing how a fire in
Mountains up there.
California ends the devastation in Florida, North Carolina. Where are those drones? Where'd the drones go, right?
Yeah.
So,
Shout out yesterday to Kelly Clarkson. What she was in. You saw that, right?
no, not Kelly Clarkson. It was Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood,
That's
right?
what I'm thinking. See,
Yeah.
I always get the two confused.
Yeah, so all of a sudden,
Yeah,
magically,
the
the music
music
isn't
came up.
working, so she did
She
it.
just took it over.
She just took it over and
Yeah.
sang without the
Acapella,
music, and it was
she,
music.
She
Yeah,
hit it out of the park.
You bet she did.
So
She-
Bobby Hoey announced earlier that he's might as well talk about politics for the last 20 minutes. He's running for school committee citywide.
Yes.
Has Mr. McDonough made a decision about running district, or is he still thinking about it? Or is
Well, Tommy, thank you for the question. Half my close friends say, go for it. The other half say, don't go for it. Talked to some, I had a nice sit down with my friend Bud Caulfield for about 20 minutes the other day. And he didn't go either way with it. But really what I want to do is find a 40-year-old woman, man, to run for city council. We need, nothing
Young
against,
people.
nothing against Wayne Janess. He's a nice guy. He just doesn't push for his community. And so I'm sick of this. What the pothole or the sinkhole we're having on Elm Street, it's not going to get fixed in 2026. That's what our city manager has decided. And so many of Tommy Golden's acquaintances say, stop calling him the shitty manager. And so I'm going to honor their request, call him the city manager.
You said it, though.
There is a little improvement there, Tom, just a little bit. It's taken you 2 years to get there, and I'm not going to forget that you, Mr. Golden, herded the homeless to the South Common.
Can I ask a question?
I'm not forgetting that.
What happened?
Ned.
Extended the 2 years on.
I haven't seen you in a while.
What happened?
To have to add in 2 years to his contract. You heard the same rumor?
I heard a rumor that 3 years. I heard that.
3 years.
That's what I heard the
I
rumor.
think that was a Lowell Sun fun thing.
I didn't
You know,
see it
they
in the
give
sun.
gifts.
No,
It
no.
was in the sun. I didn't see it in the sun.
Ned, can I get an
Yeah.
opinion off you, Ned?
What?
About something, Smith Baker Center. A few years back, Coalition of Better Acre CEO, Young Ju Chow, she went in there to take over that building and came out saying there's too many million, she's gonna need upwards of like $10 million to bring it back to snuff, okay? And now they're thinking about knocking it down. What do you think about it?
Well, I don't.
I think they should knock it down.
It has beautiful acoustics, but the place is a mess.
Even if they turned it
Because
into
the pastor of
a mall,
that church,
where do you
when I
park?
was a kid, had a house where Edgley lived on with Beacon, and where George's lived on Beacon 11th. That was a parish house for that church.
Hey,
you know
Ned,
how
when was
many-
the last time you were in that facility?
That was a long, long time ago.
The last time I was in there was with, when it was a senior center, with
Yeah.
Arthur Ramallo. Arthur and Rita Ramallo, Rita Mercier and I, we did a little TV show, and we had a tour of the senior center when it was in the Smith Baker Center. And they made the most of it,
Yep.
not using the acoustics upstairs. They never used the upstairs.
No. The auditorium tried it out, it didn't work. They brought in Sister Act.
Yeah, I know.
And work it out,
I remember
yeah.
seeing the
There's-
show
there's-
the years
Yeah.
ago.
No place to park, so.
Well, you said that, John, is there a parking lot diagonally across the street? Is that a city parking lot or is that a,
At night, it can be used by other people.
oh, that's a private parking lot for the city?
It's the city built that.
Okay,
Okay.
Mr. Hoey, read this one, please.
It's always great when Ned is on the show. Shout out to Jeff for all you do for him. Is there a way Ned, can Zoom on the days he can't make it into the studio?
That's in discussion.
Yeah, we're talking. We'd like to do it.
We
it'd
like
be good
having
for
you
Ned,
here, buddy. We like
you know.
having you here.
I think Ned likes to be here. It's important to him, so we try to get him
good to
down.
get
here.
out.
According to us.
Good to get him. Good to
Get
get
him
him out. It's the thing with Ned and technology is he just can't stop pushing buttons and turning. So I think we could get him on Zoom, and then I could go back to bed, and he'd be yelling for me to wake up and
What I'd like
come
to
back
s-
in.
The way,
I didn't yell at you, you woke me, I was up.
I can suggest this to you, Jeff, okay? Is put an iPad in front of him
Yeah.
and tell him, don't touch it.
Yeah.
You can play with your phone all you want, but don't touch that iPad.
I'll tell you I want to tell you one funny Ned story. I just have to tell it. I'll clean it up as much as I can. A couple of years ago, Ned said to me, this is before he was living with me, he says, there's something wrong with my phone. And I said, what do you think it is? He said, I have no idea. So he comes up to my house, and we got his phone, and at the same time, my son-in-law is there, who's just a tech genius, you know. He's just like this equipment here and just understands it all. He's a DJ and just knows everything. He looks at the phone, can't figure it out. The phone's kind of talking. It's an iPhone, but it just is. Every time you try to do something to it, it sort of like has like this voice just mumbling that no one could figure out what's wrong with it. So we go down to the Verizon store. Go down with Ned, and we're down at the Verizon store, and the guy takes it out back, and he comes back. He says, "Yeah, this phone's no good. What's wrong with it?" Ned had broken it, and how he had broken it, not dropping it in the toilet, not sitting on it, not doing anything. He was doing the voice activation, and while he was doing it, he might say, whatever, Google something, right? Well, as soon as he started talking to the phone, and the phone's trying to figure things out, Ned would start doing things like, what the heck's wrong with this darn thing? This piece of junk, this, right, this and that, and then what a piece of crap piece of junk. What the heck's wrong with this thing, right?
There's other
And he
words
was,
in there
right,
too, I bet,
but he
yeah.
but he talked to the phone, and like my father would say about his brother, he doesn't have an off switch. So so this goes on and on and on, but what he had done, he talked to the phone so much that the phone got confused, and finally the phone said, we're done. We're done. The 86-year-old guy has broken me, so.
Not me.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, boy.
We always like the things that irk Ned, when he comes in here and has his 2 or 3 things that irk him. Beautiful. We miss it. I do anyways. I
I
miss you,
got go
Ned.
for some.
It's nice to have you.
Hey, what do you think about Obama? Do you think he's having wife problems?
I think so.
That's
Oh,
the
I was-
talk, huh?
I think so. I would have, right, I don't, yeah. Yeah.
I don't even like thinking about those people anymore, the Democrats. for
Yeah,
a
but I
while.
mean,
Sorry, Ned.
Michelle and Barack, fantastic couple, and she didn't go to Carter's funeral.
No.
That's a biggie.
That's a
no
huge-
good, no good,
There's no good excuse for
no
that.
good. There's no good excuse for skipping a president's funeral.
You
Just
have
isn't.
you have obligations in this country, and it's not just about when the voters have voted you in and you did your time. I often I'll say this about like Jimmy Carter. I mean, what a great man he turned.
He did
out to
more
be, right?
after.
He was a horrible president. In many regards, but as a human being and what he did for people, for the next 40 years was just amazing, and really, really something. That was actually a sad day on his funeral. It was actually a sad day when his wife's funeral, when they wheeled him in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
That was quite a sad day. But you look at some of these past politicians, and what do they really do other than do high-paid speeches, right? I mean,
Yeah, well, that's, so this
That's
coming
what the
from,
Clintons do.
from Clement Cannoli, he says, welcome back, Ned Tarmey. And what is
Clem,
it-
Clem's a good friend of mine. Good morning, Clem.
what is a retired
Five.
politician supposed to do?
no, like Jimmy Carter, be there what you're stumped about, you're there for the American people, you're there to help, you're there to, make things better, life better,
Yeah,
I mean,
millionaire, bro, peanuts.
you just don't disappear, you just don't do things for people while you're campaigning, I like politicians that just, who do what they say, and continue to be, there when the cameras are off, or when or when the title is gone, and I don't know what George Bush Jr. has done. I mean, he just hangs. I haven't seen him do anything, and the Obamas, I have no idea.
think-
But we certainly know what Jimmy Carter has done.
I'm not saying George Bush Jr. wasn't right, but I think No Child Left Behind Act was his maybe claim to fame.
Yeah.
And I think probably some of it, he was president for 8 years, and he did his, what do they call it?
He has the big farm.
Did his, what word?
Owned the
Paid his dues.
Paid his
And he
dues.
probably figures, I'm going to take it easy now. I did
He
what
was
I
an
was
old-
president
he
for.
was an
And
old guy.
president at the most trying time with 9/11.
Oh, 9/11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was something. Yeah, never forget that day. Never forget that
We
day.
all knew where we were.
You bet. You bet.
I know where he was when Kennedy got shot.
Me too. 3rd grade, St. Peter's School right down the street here.
And then,
Yeah,
Only time I saw the nuns cry.
yeah.
well, I don't know, it's so, I think Lowell's on the right track. That doesn't mean it's city, I think it's just, it's developing that way. We have no more land to build anywhere. Everything you gotta do, you gotta go up.
Yeah.
Well, Ned, I'm only 70, buddy, but I'll tell you, this is the first time I've ever seen our streets taken care of a little bit, more than ever. Maintaining our 28 schools more than ever.
And that's Sean Machado's job.
Well, all I'm saying is, to me, Danny Rourke, Eric Gitch is number one in my books, and they've done a good job. And they still have a little bit on this term to see what goes on.
Bobby, why you got the mic, read this one.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Mrs. Obama didn't show up to President Carter's funeral. Trump, I understand.
Trump was there.
Trump was there.
No, but not going to Trump.
Oh, okay. And I said that earlier. These people shouldn't be, as they say, they say it's protocol, it's a courtesy, but they look so uncomfortable there, they
Yeah.
shouldn't have to go. And nobody should knock them for not going. You know what I mean?
But there was Trump and Obama laughing and everything together. You wonder what they were laughing about.
Yeah.
So they're probably much friendlier than you thought.
And you know the
Whoever
game of
knew-
politics, Ned. You know the game of politics. They probably get along secretly, privately, you know?
Nikki Saunders and Phil Shea.
Oh,
Paul Saunders.
I'll
you
never
know?
forget the heat Phil took for endorsing him when he ran for Senate, because nobody ever, no, he was running for Congress, Paul
Congressman,
Cronin.
yeah.
He took the heat for that, because they, that two opposite spectrums of politics, the both of them, but Phil's a true
Where is
Democrat.
Paul Cronin?
Huh?
Where is Paul Cronin?
Paul Cronin passed away.
Oh, did he?
A few years ago, yeah.
You have to wonder if with some politicians, especially in the federal level, if they, some politicians just go with how the wind blows, right? Whatever their constituents want, right? But you just wonder, like, when they're discussing something, no matter what it is, abortion, transgender, whatever, and if they go back to their office after the cameras are off and go, oh my goodness gracious, what the heck am I thinking?
Yeah.
Like, what a sellout.
I've seen it.
want-
I've seen it. Drake and Ned's seen it in all these. I mean, people. I'm not going to say names, but people said this one shouldn't be a selectman. Now they're best friends. They fought cats and dogs. Now they're best friends.
Yeah.
And then they're enemies. And there's, John and I know two gentlemen that were good friends, and now they don't even speak to each other. It's an unfortunate
It
thing.
happens in law. Like, currently what's going on is two Cadillac of a guys.
To what?
Two Cadillac
Cadillac of a
guys.
guys is the mayor, Danny Rourke, and a state rep, Rodney Elliott.
Elliott, yeah.
They don't get along. They dislike one another. And what Tommy's talking about is my friends Brian Bond and John Zimmerman.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah.
When things sour, I can understand how divorce can creep into your life. And I don't have, on both ends, I've done what little I can do to put these two characters together. It ain't happening.
What happened between Jimmy and Bond?
I don't know. I can't honestly say. Do you know, John? I mean, there was some disagreement over some political thing or something, and
It's years ago, and it's a thing where, hey, they're both. I love both these guys. I enjoy their company. Always had a great time, and a lot of shenanigans that we pulled off. And Drake, it's a better town because of all the shenanigans that happened. And sorry for what happened, but the same thing that's going on right now is nobody wants to touch the third rail. That we have a state rep from Pawtucketville and a mayor from Pawtucketville that don't get along.
Oh, we got a zoning board that don't like Eric Getcha. I mean, we got all kinds of things like that.
That should stop. We should
It
work.
should.
What's the best thing for our community? And I know that Danny and Rodney will step forward for what's best in our community. But I think things would be a little bit better if they were a little warmer to one another.
I think I might have thought a little bit. I've seen them together a couple of times. Maybe if that icy relationship might have thought it a little bit. So
I hope so.
yeah. I mean, I've seen, like I say, I remember when Warren Shaw and John Zimmerman. Oh my God, it was like. And now they get along pretty well. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, when
Hey.
Phil Tebow ran for selectman.
Bobby Kennedy voting for Tassie Pooley as for mayor.
Oh,
And Tassie knocked it through the whole
Yeah.
campaign.
yeah, yeah.
You know, that's all kinds
It all
of things.
changes. It all changes.
You know, where the hell did Dick O'Malley?
Another one, he passed away. He passed away about 10 years ago, and his wife just passed away about 3 months ago. I'm in touch with his daughter on Facebook. Yeah.
I didn't know
Great
that.
guy, yeah, yeah.
And Bobby, his brother Bobby, my brother Lenny were best. Phil were
But I don't
Yes,
care whether you live
Father.
in the town or you live in the city. We need to get some 40. Here we go. Mark Kratman pushing back from running for selectman. It's time that the 40-year-olds step up to the job, and it's also time that you pay selectmen real money. This business of, oh, you know what? We don't pay our selectmen. Well, that's why you have rich people running the town. Only a rich guy can afford to work for zippity-doo-dah. Look at Trump. He's like, I don't need the money. I don't need your money.
but
So
this,
what
also-
happens in town, if you don't pay your selectmen for the value that they have kids, they got a spouse, they have the same bills you have, plus a mortgage, plus a car, plus they have to go to your kid's baseball game, you won't vote for them. Pay them what's fair.
How did
we lost all our young
You have-
politicians because of the high school. We had a great group of young politicians, and they all ran that year.
What's that?
From the high school fight.
Oh, yeah, that's
That
never gonna
ruined
go
that
away.
whole
They still talk about
generation.
that today. You have
That
to keep on
generation
both
of
sides that.
politicians is gone.
Yeah.
So we have to wait for
But you
young kids.
have, we talk about Mark Kratman, George Dixon out in Chelmsford's a selectman. He's not running for re-election.
No?
There's another selectman in Tewksbury that's not running for re-election. Mark has his health issues, but I mean, yeah, people, I don't know. I mean, he sounds like he's going to run, but I don't even know if Tony Archinsky's going to run for re-election. He's going to make a decision once the papers come out. Tony's paid his dues.
After a while, you get sick of your phone ringing.
I think if he gets reelected now, if he runs again, he'll be when he gets done that term, be 15 years, he'll be on the board. So
I think you're going to see big results in Lowell. You already seen, we didn't have anybody run for school committee citywide until Danielle McFadden put her name in the
Yeah,
game, right?
yeah.
We seen about 8 to 10 people put their name in for District 3 City Council.
yeah,
So I just say,
District 3 was,
time will tell. I
terrible.
think redistricting is made it
Lovely.
easier, I think, to get elected. All you have to do is win in your district. You don't have to run citywide like we
700
did for
votes
years.
is all you need.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
yeah.
if you work hard enough, you got a shot.
Well, you
all.
work hard.
Oh, I think that without a doubt, I don't even know this girl Danielle
Sweetheart, absolutely.
Yeah, I
just
saw
by
it
her
at
putting
Salvation
her-
Army breakfast a year
Yeah,
ago.
but see, right away, I say, she put her name in, there's no doubt someone that's one of those two citywide candidates told her they're not running. We haven't heard it yet, but one of the two weren't running. You know, at one time, they wanted her to run for state rep, right?
Yep.
I think she would have ran anyway, Bobby. I think she had that political bug in her. I
Well,
mean,
no, I'm
what
just
you
saying,
said,
I'm just
yeah.
saying.
Who was her husband?
But why didn't she run for state rep at that time? At that time, I think it was because Corey Robinson was mentioned about running for it too. And in that district, he could be tough. Believe it or not, maybe now he get hurt a little bit, but I
Yeah,
doubt it.
he only needs.
He's done listen, to me, he's in the top 3 councilors that has done the most
Who's
for
that?
my city. Corey Robinson.
Wow.
Eric gets you without
Oh,
a
yeah,
doubt,
Corey
number
Robinson,
one.
Eric,
He's
the
done
mayor.
quite a bit.
I mean, you know,
They did quite a bit.
Rita still does a
Rita's
lot.
there. Rita's Rita. She's going to be there until she wants to leave, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you quit Rita, let your daughter Christine run. Or Kelly.
well, you always hear the story, you don't want to go out a loser. And I remember Jimmy O'Loughlin was a longtime selectman in Drake.
Knew his
And
mother.
he told me after, I never should have ran for that light because he lost. Yeah, you know, you don't want to get, when you lose, you lose. Like Warren Shaw and Doug Willett, they decided we're not running for re-election. And that's how you want to go out. You don't want to go out as a loser, you know?
I'm
Dick
Mercy, I
Howe, Dick
wanted
Howe,
to.
not one more guy, Dick Howe didn't run for re-election, you know?
Oh, Trump lost.
Yeah.
And then he
Dick
came
Howe
back.
wanted. Dick Howe.
Yeah.
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 Right. You wouldn't think Trump would run again. They
lot of
thought
people
they
didn't
had
think
him. They
so.
thought he
Oh.
was gone. We got rid of him.
Do you guys think that Biden would have done better, not beat him?
No.
but would have done better
No,
than
absolutely
Kamala?
not.
No,
No.
so you think he would have done worse than Kamala? 'Cause
No,
she
I
got
think
blocked.
I think the numbers would have been about the same. I really
Okay.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a. People liked him. I mean, he just wasn't. He had lost his capabilities, right? I mean,
Oh my
But-
God, he walks slower than ever.
Yeah, I feel
No.
bad. You know,
I,
you feel bad
um,
as a human
He's
being.
confused. Even yesterday, opened the door when he
You feel
walked
bad
out
for him
with
as a
Trump.
human being, you know?
Even he was confused walking out with Trump yesterday, and he was trying to think, oh, should I go in this door? You know, and he's standing there
yeah.
like a lost soul.
As a human being, you feel sorry for him.
Oh.
You know?
Well, you do. I mean, you
He
gotta
put
be.
40 years in his life.
Yeah,
But
50.
50.
Yeah.
I think it'll take 40 years for the Democrats to recover.
I don't.
I don't know if
And
it'll be.
the
I don't know if it'll be 40
it's
years,
gonna
but
be
they
a long
gotta.
time.
It's got to be. It's just, you know, I would never want to offend anybody, but I mean, I have my opinions, and I just,
You
we
toggle
don't,
them.
we're just, listen, there's only
This
two.
is an opinion show,
This is
buddy.
only
That's
two.
what this
There's only
is.
two genders, male and female. That's it. A man has never had a baby. I just can't listen to it anymore. I was in Boston the other day at a
Oh,
convention
you see
center,
this.
and I don't know what was going on, but I saw 100 men and women in their teens and 20s. Every one of them was dressed up like a cat, a dog, a donkey. You know, a guy walking his girlfriend down the street on a leash. It was like, in what planet are we on? You know, what planet are we
You
on?
heard Trump say that in his speech.
You know, yeah, and I mean, and I just agree. I just can't. There's just a direction that we were going that just it just doesn't make sense. You know,
We were by the
you know,
corner in Manchester yesterday having a big
you-
for jobs. You know what else it was for? You know, might have been against anti-Trump. You know.
Who do you think the Democrats turn to in 4 years then? Do you think they have to get away from the Kamala Harrises and the
They
Chuck
have
Schumers
to.
and the-
They have to.
Are there
You
any
can't-
fresh candidates out there, a name like we don't even know that could, you know,
I keep throwing up that Chris
like when
Murphy.
When Jimmy Carter came out of nowhere, we're talking about he came out of nowhere in
I
76.
have lust in my heart.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, still, he came out of
I
nowhere.
look at that Chris Murphy. I think this guy
From
from
Connecticut?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's
kinda
it.
You need a
like
young
that.
guy like Clinton who is.
You
at
need
the
a
time-
moderate Democrat.
You just need
Yeah.
a moderate
Yeah.
Democrat. You can't have this extreme socialism kind of thing. You know, we don't live in a world of everything for free. And
We're running out of time. We got Tommy Bomil's fan club here. I enjoyed DATV. Mr. Bomil was on with Mr. Bogue last month. Very informative show.
That was a
Who's
very good
Mr.
time.
Rowe?
Man. Now I owe Zimini a go on his show.
Now, today we got tomorrow. Linda Brown's going to be the host. Hillary Winterstrom's coming. Rick Rowe's gonna be here, and State Rep Rodney Elliott, that's tomorrow, City Life. So time is short, boys.
Delaware State Rep working hard. Rodney, he's everywhere.
Everywhere. And I think this new state rep's going to be just like him.
Yeah.
I forgot his name already.
I did too.
Yeah,
Tara Hung,
Tara Hung.
he's coming soon, he's coming next month.
yeah.
Hey,
Another great show. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming out.
Thank
Jeff.
you, thank you, everybody. Thank you for
And
Tough
coming.
getting up this morning with the cold weather. I don't
I
like
was
getting up.
awake, and Jeff knocked at my door. You want to go down the show? And it was early. It was like
3:30 in the morning, Ned's sitting down in his bedroom shaving. It's like, oh, I guess you want to go, huh? You know?
if you want to get in shape, get a job at UPS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They'll get you in shape.
Have a good day.
Have a good week, everybody.
Watch, it's going to be
Thanks,
cold
Jeff.
for a week.
See you tomorrow.
Every time I see a truck driver come up on my street, UPS.